What's up, guys? It's your girl Riva, and I am back again with another video. If you're new to this channel, hi, my name is Riva. It's very nice to meet you. Before we get into this video, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up, and as I always say, make sure you guys leave your comments in the comment section down below. It doesn't matter how you feel about this video. We all want to talk about it. Also, if you're not following me on Instagram, follow my Instagram. It's at RIVAH_JORDON. And we are going to go ahead and just jump right into this video.
After a breakup, you gotta reinvent yourself. Get in tune with yourself, remember what you used to like to do, because let's be honest, when you're in a relationship and you're in love, you compromise. You forget about the things that you really like to do. Like, let's say, okay, I'm a recording artist, and let's say, hypothetically speaking, I'm dating an athlete. He invites me to all the games, and I'm like, babe, I want to go to the studio. I want to perform. I'm so invested in him that I'm like, you know what? Fine, I'll go to this game. I'll go to practice. That becomes 3 times a week, a month, a year. And then I'm like, damn, who am I now?
Forget about yourself.
Who am I? What do I love afterwards? So you really got to get into yeah, I'm getting back to what I really know and what I love.
So I'm going to ask you that because you was in love with him.
So just on this point alone, I think that that's an issue that a lot of women do when dating. A lot of women, when dating, leave their whole identity behind just to be there and be in a relationship and spend a lot of time every moment, maybe with their man. And that's completely unhealthy, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're passionate about something or if you love something and you're in a relationship, that person is going to ultimately want you to still have a life, basically. You know what I mean? And that doesn't mean hanging out with your girls all the time. That doesn't mean staying out late, partying, not stuff like that, but something as well as that she's passionate about. Obviously, if he's passionate about whatever sport he's playing and she's passionate about music, he's gonna want you to be able to go to the studio. He's gonna want you to be like, hey, you're not going to the studio today. I don't know the reason why it tends to be this thing where you kind of completely lose who you are, because it's not necessary. Because at the end of the day, I personally feel like a man doesn't want you in his face all day long, right? Sitting there and just waiting around or whatever the case may be. It's necessary for you to not lose certain things, because there's certain, her passion for music is, I'm sure, what gives her spark, right? It makes her maneuver in a certain way. It probably makes her easy. It makes her happy. It makes her joyful. So it's something that can make her easy to communicate, easy to talk to. It's going to put her in a certain vibe where she's just good to be around because she's not miserable, right? So he's going to probably like to see that. And a lot of times guys don't even tell you not to do the things that you usually do. You just do that just in the hopes of kind of being there with them at every second. And sometimes it becomes a smothering thing as well. I'm not saying for her particular situation because I don't know her at all, but I'm just saying, for example, that's something that's super unhealthy.
So we're talking about love after breakup. You loved your mom, so how did you heal from that? Because that's a breakup. Your mom passed away, sorry to hear that, but that's a different type of love from boyfriend. So how was that process? For people that's going through something.
I'm gonna be honest, thank you. It's something you never really heal from. You just gotta roll with the punches, be better, and just understand that you're not the only human being who has lost somebody that you love. So I just took the pain and try to make it something beautiful. The music, inspiring, being transparent with my people. Okay, I've been through this, but I don't want no pity. I'm just, telling my story because I could possibly help save a life or anybody,
Wow.
And one more question on that. Does that hinder your relationships now, dating? The lose of your mom, and how do you transition into letting somebody else in?
Good question.
Well, my dad was never in my life, so I think that kind of hinders it. I can't trust nobody.
So you're single now, just to be clear?
I'm single.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
single. I haven't found nobody that I really want to be with. I don't think I have found my soulmate yet. I've been in lust, with somebody is lust. You know, I have love for you, but I've never really been in love. Maybe my last relationship was just like comfortability. We were together for 4 years, and he's my first like real relationship. So it wasn't. I haven't found anything serious.
Okay, so
yeah.
Question: You just how long have you been out of that relationship?
3 years, like 3 years.
Oh, so it's been a minute. Okay,
it's
so
been a minute.
If you could like prioritize or rank in order, like what were the top 3 things that you did coming out of that relationship to like have love come to you, or like just to recover from like the trauma of breaking up? What'd you do?
I really focused more on the music because when I was in that relationship, I just want to be with him. I'm like, you know what? I'll skip studio today. I'll just chill in the crib. You know, we could go on a date or something. But I got into myself, meditating. You know, I have a lot of unhealed trauma that I'm dealing with still. And I think that it's a process every single day.
But it's crazy. Like, I just feel like a lot of people, right, when they leave a relationship and they just feel like they're going through a deep depression. They just feel like, oh, that was my soulmate. That was the only man out there for me. That was the only woman out there for me. And this is where you really get it messed up at, because I just feel like there's more than one soulmate. Like, every time I leave a breakup, I'm like, oh my God, that was the only dude I was meant to be with. And 6 months or a year later, I'm here, I'm finding somebody else. So for you to sit there and think like, oh, that's the person that you was with was the only person that you're supposed to be with is bullshit. Because if that was the only person you were supposed to be with, he would have been there, she would have been there right now. If she or he not here right now, it's for a reason. That's not your soulmate. It's just another person you bounced on. So
I think that I think that this comment that she's making is true to an extent. You can definitely move on from a relationship, right? You can like get in, leave a relationship and completely like just move on and be like, wow, look, I was crying for, however many hours and now I'm happy. Like, wow, would have never thought, would have never saw that coming. But in actuality, that's not always true. Just like my last video that I was talking about, there's some women who are, no matter who they get into a relationship next, they are still comparing them to that one person that owns their heart ultimately. Like, no matter what that person does, if that person calls them right now today, they are going to leave whoever they're in a relationship with to go be with that person because they don't belong to the people that they move on to. They just move on to because what else are they going to do every day if that person doesn't want to be with them? And also, ultimately, sometimes you are actually getting into a great relationship or whatever the case may be, and you mess up that relationship and it's your, like, it's something that you did. And sometimes it's not that you could have been, it's not that it was meant that you weren't supposed to be with that person, but sometimes those are signals like, you definitely have some things to work on within yourself so that you can, better yourself and ultimately be with somebody else and be happy. However, like, sometimes when you're the person who messes up the relationship, it's hard for you to move on or disconnect because, you just know that, like, somebody good, like, slipped through the cracks. So I understand what she's saying. Like, everything does happen for a reason, ultimately, for sure. However, like, there are some people who still, like, 10, 20, 30 years later, are still like, dang, like, that person was the one who got away.
Close and they shut down and they just get depressed and they just they're in this dark space. They're not letting things go. So if you're not letting your ex go, you still want to watch the same movie I've been watching for 4
right.
years. You still want to go to the same restaurant. You still want to do the same thing. How the hell are you going to get over him or over her to find a new person because you're still stuck on that? You got to give yourself time. There's more than one soulmate. I didn't fell in and out of love or out of like soulmate a few times. But it's because I don't live in the past. The past is the past for me. I live in the present and the future. I don't ever worry about the past. Some people live in the past. That's why I see some people from high school, they're still dreaming about the high school. I was the man in high school. No. Focus on your relationship right now. Right now you're single. You're not with that person anymore. He left you. She left you. Get over that. What's now? Go to the gym, lose some weight, get hot again, stay hot. If you're doing things with your life, if you go on and you become that girl or that man, and you become a person where people want to be with, that person gonna find you. They're gonna see you. They're gonna tell him or her about you. Yeah, she's doing good right now. You should see her, yo.
That goes. I feel like that goes.
That's very true. That's very true. That's very, very true because, some people do get stuck, right? And they do, like she said, they listen to the same songs they used to listen to, watching the same movies they used to listen to, and ultimately that's not going to help you. Like, it'll literally drive you nuts. So I agree. Like, and again, you have to take a learning lesson from every situation. So if you knew that, like, it was your mouth that got you in trouble in that relationship and caused the breakup, if it was your weight, if it was the fact that you were kind of like lackadaisical, again, yeah, ultimately you're not doing it necessarily to win that person back, but there's a lot of situations that, that person might see you and you got yourself together, and then it's going to swing right back, and you guys could be together. So ultimately, I do agree with her sentiments on that portion of what she said.
Hand in hand with value. You see, I feel like I'm listening to a lot, and I agree, things do happen, right? But, like, I personally believe that when you value yourself, you allow yourself to never have to fall off, right? People get into a position, and then they try to find a solution instead of working backwards and just finding a preventative skill.
Right.
Now, if you stay hot, you stay, in the gym. I was dating Danny for 5 years. I never missed the gym, right? I stay on top of myself. I stay on top of my business. My business is growing. My status is growing. My fitness and my health is growing. Everything about me is growing. So then, like, when me and you don't work out, I don't close mind myself to my last relationship. Now I don't have to let go, because I gave everything I possibly could at that moment in that relationship to myself and to that person, right? So then moving forward is a lot easier of a process. And now, yeah, I do agree with Danny, right? There are, I believe, multiple soulmates. But now when you keep a soulmate I believe, is here when you are at your self. When you are not yourself, a soulmate cannot find you.
So before we get into the soulmates thing, before we get into the soulmates conversation, what he says about staying on point, all right? So just doing exactly what he's saying, being your best self, never losing that thing, never getting too comfortable when you're in a relationship and showing somebody a side that's not so attractive or whatever the case may be. Losing your passion, your thing that makes you tick, like not losing yourself ultimately, like being a whole person, because a lot of people get into relationships and they're not a whole person. They're a half person and they want you to make them whole. And then when you leave, they have nothing at all. So being a whole person is completely imperative in a relationship. It's one of the most important things, is being a whole person, so that you're not offering brokenness and ultimately stress that person is going to have to help you heal through certain things. You can literally be a whole person. Now, what he's saying about the multiple soulmates, that's a whole other conversation, but I definitely don't agree with that. I think that there's a lot that every single person that comes into your life for a reason or for a season. I definitely feel that way. However, that term soulmate is used very loosely, just because you have like a vibe or a connection with a person. I think you can have a vibe and a connection with a lot of different people, right? It can just be like a certain air about you guys just click. You can click with a lot of people, but to use the actual term soulmate, where you feel like this is like ultimately like the person that you can, go the long extra mile with, I think that's a different conversation. As well as there's different situations. There's life partners. There's somebody that that you can share your life with. There's soulmates. And then, like I said, there's a lot of different connections as well. So on that part, I don't agree with the whole multiple soulmates thing, and I think that's tricky waters, where it can send people to feel like they can just be, loose with it, right? Like, just out here. A lot of women will take that, mentally, and just be out here. Oh yeah, because I have all these different soulmates. No, you have all these different soul ties now.
And when I have invested myself into something and I have lost myself, I have now blocked myself from my soulmate identifying who I am. So when you keep yourself, no matter if your relationships do fail, your soulmate, your next soulmate, and this is my opinion, is able to identify and see you and seek you.
This is all really poetic, but I'm gonna be real. Like, I think the best way to get over somebody after a breakup is with somebody else. Whether it's somebody you gonna go to the gym with, somebody you gonna go like have dinner with, somebody you're gonna go on vacations with, somebody you just having sex with on the side, but it's literally somebody to hang out with.
On a positive tip.
One, I think you need to be honest about what your intentions are. You know, don't make it seem like you want to be in a relationship with this person. You're just enjoying the moment. You're enjoying time and you're enjoying spending time with them. But it's a distraction from what's going on mentally. It's a distraction from the trauma that you experience in the breakup. Like it's a distraction from whatever mentally you go through with a breakup. Again, everybody's not going to agree with me. But I'm sorry, like the best way to get for Aaron Campbell, the best way to get over somebody is with somebody else.
Yeah, I definitely don't agree with that. I 150% don't agree with that. Now, if we're talking about spending time like with your family or with your friends and stuff like that, you know, positively, not like, you know, once again, hanging out with your friends and they're trying to push you on to somebody so that you can get over it. No, I think that the best way to get over a breakup is, yeah, you might want to hang out with, like I said, your family and your friends, but ultimately, like, sleeping around is just going to do way more damage. Not only are you, you know, adding wear and tear onto yourself, especially as a woman, right? Because she's a woman talking, so I'm talking to the women right now. Not only are you adding wear and tear to yourself, for literally no reason at all, but also you're entering so many different meaningless connections when you should ultimately just be spending time, you know, getting over that. Like, a lot of people jump out of the emotion when that's the time that you should actually be feeling. Feel that emotion. Go back and analyze it. What was going on? What's the reason why it didn't work? Ultimately, what are you going to do to try to be your best self? Because again, you can end up in all these meaningless situations, and that can go on for a really long period of time. Then you might get addicted to that kind of lifestyle. Next thing you know, you're just all around, up and down. Years pass, you're still, you know, unsatisfied at the point of your relationship, and now you have all this wear and tear on you and all these different experiences for absolutely no reason at all. So I don't agree with that, and I've heard people say that advice a lot, but I don't think it's healthy advice.
Aaron, you gotta also think about.
It has nothing to do with value.
That's actually complete left from.
I think you have to be honest. I think you have to be honest.
You just came out of a breakup and you fucking.
It doesn't have to be sex.
No, it doesn't have to be sex.
No, but she said for Aaron you did add sex.
Yeah, among 5 other things.
Yeah, but working out in the gym, that's cute. That's cute. You know, going to eat, that's cute. But you fucking, we're sharing a soul. We're having a soul tie.
I just want to ask you a serious question, right? Maybe 2 or 3 questions. Have you ever gotten over, and we're speaking about Aaron.
Absolutely.
Right. Have you ever gotten over, I'm just going to say the obvious, ex-relationship by jumping into a new relationship?
I didn't say get into a relationship. I said...
He's asking a question.
No. Let me clarify. I didn't say a relationship. I said finding you somebody that is going to be on the same page with you as far as spending time, enjoying the moment, that sort of thing. And yes,
so
Aaron Campbell, or whatever you want to call it, Aaron Campbell, have left one relationship and got into a situation with somebody else.
And
that helped you get over the previous.
Absolutely.
Yeah, now, do you understand that is not typically the outcome for most people that do that?
Because I think most people are not honest. They're not honest about what their intentions are. The thing is that they jump into another relationship versus being honest with the person, saying, look, I just got a relationship. I don't want anything serious. I just want to hang out. I want to vibe. Again, I know it's probably not a popular thing to say, but in my experience, I feel like if you are honest with the next person you're with after you're breaking up in your relationship, let them know, like, look, I just got a relationship. I don't want anything serious. I want someone to hang out with. I want somebody to go on vacations with. I want somebody to, like, chill with. I want somebody to go, if you like bike riding, museums, stuff like that. You just want to hang out. And the thing is that we all do these things. I mean, yes, you may be having sex with them, but that's just a byproduct of being attracted.
No, but the byproduct is an issue. The byproduct is a very big issue, right? And she she is speaking from her own experiences and from her from herself, but that the byproduct of that is a really big issue, because a lot of things can come out of that situation. Pregnancy can come out of that situation. A disease can come out of that situation. um what else? I mean, there's so there's so many things that can come out of this situation, this temporary fleeting situation, for absolutely no reason at all. Like literally for no reason, just because of how you feel at the time. And it's not healthy. It's definitely not healthy. And a lot of people are not going to be able to decipher, like how long they're going to be doing this, or like the kind of situations. And yes, if you jump from one situation, especially as a woman, if you jump from one situation immediately into the next, say for instance, especially like this, if the person left you, for example, because when women leave a relationship, or men, both ways, when a relationship is done, people have left way before they announce that the relationship is over, right? But when you jump from one to the next, you're just bringing all of that energy right into this next situation. Like, the same problems that maybe you had with him, and the reason why you guys broke up is just going to be right here, right in front of your face, looking at you like, hello, yeah, we didn't go anywhere because you never resolved us. You just dragged us to the next guy. And that's a huge issue.
Somebody, or byproduct of, like, being with somebody that's hot. So, like you say.
So let me ask you this question, right? Because now I'm thinking just realistically based on your statement, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you just get out of a relationship, right? And I want to just use a more concrete narrative and say it was a relationship that you weren't happy in, and there was no like craziness in it. I know somebody might try to input that, but we're just gonna say like it was just a bad relationship. You finally got out. You guys were dating for 10 years, maybe 5, right? And now you get out of that 5-year relationship and you find Oliver. And Oliver likes to bike like you. He likes to do the similar things that you do. And realistically, after 5 years of devoting yourself to somebody, and then you find somebody else who finally has the same interests and hobbies as you do, you understand how easy it is to fall back into the same cycle over and over again.
I agree with you. But I also think you have to be accountable for your actions. So you have to exercise some sort of self-discipline to be like, you know what? I understand this is a fresh wound. I understand that I need me time, and I don't need to like give of myself so much, in like I did in the last relationship. So I think if you just be disciplined and I'm losing my thought. If you're disciplined about going into that situationship, and you're like, look, this is strictly what it is, and you won't find yourself trying
to find yourself playing with fire.
But what if But what if you dodge the bullet?
But the discipline and the accountability don't coincide with the things that she's saying right now. They don't coincide, because how do you? Obviously, if you just are so eager to jump into something else, I'm not saying that you're the person that's wrong, but say for instance you are the person who's wrong. How did you have time to be accountable for your actions if you're already entertaining somebody that's smiling in your face?
Getting out of that relationship. And you're ready. You're not wounded. You're like, you know what? I'm ready right now.
Thank God.
Guys, I want to know what you guys think about this. For men, it's completely different, right? Because for men, when they are intimate with somebody, it's not the same thing. As a woman, you're letting someone into literally like your womb space, right? Like your sacred space. So, and we are on the receiving end. So it's a completely different thing. Like we definitely like absorb, you know what I'm saying? So those soul ties and like absorbing energy from people is definitely a real thing, for a woman. For a man, it's a little bit different. But I want to know what everybody thinks in the comment section down below. I want to know what you guys feel about this. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and as I always say, make sure you guys leave your comments in the comment section down below, because I want to hear from you. I dip in there and I be talking to you guys, interacting and knowing what you guys ultimately think. And again, if you're not following me on Instagram, my Instagram is at RIVAH_JORDON. I love you guys so very much. I will see you guys in the next video.